language prejudice is the discrimination against non-native speakers, especially those who can't really speak English too well and have very thick accents. Not necessarily only English, but it occurs particularly in America.
The fact that based on how some people talk or the language that they speak, that you might have some preconceived notions of who they are or how they behave or what they think?
Yeah, it's when you hear someone speaking a specific language and right there you stereotype the person or you make a judgment based on the language this person is using.
I think that the idea is that sometimes people might revert or decide to use their language in groups, which then excludes other people from understanding what they're saying, which means that then creates discrimination towards others that cannot understand what you're saying and excludes them from participating in an activity or something.
Yeah, I think that leads to a lot of judgment. In extreme occasions, it can lead to bullying. That's how, like the stereotypes and those things are born, things of sort. It could lead to violence and despair, especially when the disagreements begin to happen between people based on language prejudice, but mainly that.
A difference between, people view individuals who don't speak English as, trying not to assimilate or trying to keep to themselves when, I'm sure that does happen to a certain degree. There are a number of people who come to the U.S. and may not have the ability to learn or may not have the resources to learn English, and as a result are just really struggling. So I think that often then leads, that kind of misperception or not realizing their situation can have people have a negative view of those individuals. Even like a view of ignorance or something like that, just because they can't express their ideas in English. People assume that they're ignorant or whatnot.
I heard one story where a woman was actually not given medical care because she could not communicate her problems well enough. Language prejudice can have all sorts of consequences.
Since I'm very proud of where I am coming from and the language that I speak, I really didn't care about those people's faces or comments many people that do that don't speak more than one language, and I do speak three, so.
If you watch TV, a lot of times, you'll have these kind of stereotypes that are portrayed, and, stereotypes are stereotypes because there may be an element of truth to them, but I think especially when you think about people who view people who don't speak English as ignorant or whatnot, I think you definitely get that through media that presents people who can't speak English as they're less intelligent or they just are clueless about the world or something like that, and that may not be the case.
So a lot of schools in the United States are actually still have racial segregation almost. If you look at some schools, you'll see populations with 98% white students or 98% black students, not really any 50-50 schools. The same thing happens with language. You're going to see a lot of Spanish-speaking students in one school and a lot of English-speaking students in another, and that has to do with the division of the regions and the neighborhoods and the cultures that choose to congregate in one area and the division of school districts.
I think that people should be allowed to speak their own language most of the time. The question is that they should never give the impression that they're using their language to talk to someone to express an idea that they don't want someone else to know about or to hear. So as long as the use of the language is, I would say, conscious towards being respectful towards others, I think that would be something that would possibly help with that not happening. That there isn't an intent towards who's using a different language so that someone doesn't understand them.
I think we should teach our kids and people all over the world to be very open-minded, because the world right now is very globalized and you will always meet people from other countries. So it's very normal for you to encounter people that don't speak your own language. So always be prepared for that. Thank you.